and welcome to CGTN. I'm Tao Yuan. Today is International Museum Day, and the theme for this year's International Museum Day is the future of museums in rapidly changing communities. This theme actually invites us to reimagine the role of museums as connectors, innovators, and stewards of our cultural identity. So here we are coming to you live from Sichuan University Museum. But look behind me, it doesn't look like a museum at all, does it? It's become a place where young children can come and learn by getting their hands dirty. And this is a transformation that's happening in museums across China. They're not static exhibition halls where you can look and admire anymore. They're a place where people of all ages can actually come and engage with culture, with history, and with creativity. So today in this live stream, we're going to be showing you traditional Chinese craftsmanship. We're also going to be showing you highlight exhibitions here in Sichuan University Museum. But first of all, let me bring in my two really wonderful guests here with me. I'm going to have you guys introduce yourself for us. Say hi to our audience first.
Hello. Hello everyone, my name is Shen Liping and I'm a postgraduate student studying in Sichuan University, and I'm also a volunteer here in Sichuan University Museum.
And you?
Hello everyone, my name is Zhou Yujie and I'm one of the staff in this museum responsible for the public education.
Did you also graduate from Sichuan University?
Yeah, several years ago.
Okay, just want to tell you that Sichuan University is, if you go out of this museum and you cross right?
Yeah.
It's about a 2-minute walk. So the university and the museum, they're together.
Yeah.
Yes, so I kind of alerted this event right here just now. So do you guys know what this is all about?
This is kind of like a workshop, and its theme is about an intangible cultural heritage called lacquerware pearl, qizhu. And you can see here that there are parents and children. They're together experiencing how to abrade and polish the pearl so that it can become colorful and show different patterns.
Right. So is there a way for us to get in and get our hands dirty as well? Okay, we go through this way. So this is a national level intangible cultural heritage, I understand?
Yeah, that's right.
Lacquerware in Chengdu is nationwide famous, and let me just try to find my cameraman. I know this girl and her family because we interviewed her. No, you can sit down. 你可以坐着 Her name is Liang Yuhan. We actually interviewed her a couple of days ago because she and her family actually comes to this museum and other museums every weekend, right? 每周末都来参加博物馆的这种活动，是不是啊？能不能给阿姨讲解一下你现在和爸爸在干什么呢？
这个是一个漆珠，就用砂纸，然后呢蘸了水对折之后，把它一直磨出金色的条纹，之后呢就是磨到一个阶段就换砂纸，然后呢把它磨成这样子之后，就往手上倒这种珍珠粉，然后呢就这样，这个叫珍珠粉，之后蘸一点，把它放在这里使劲摩擦，就磨得更亮些。
Okay, so let me just give you guys a close-up. This is a lacquer bead, right? You can call it a pearl, but it's really got nothing to do with pearl. Am I right? I need your guys' help. So you call this a pearl, but
Yeah.
This is not actually a pearl. It's a bead, right?
Yeah, but it's
in the shape of a pearl.
Yeah, a shape of pearl.
Right, but it's made of wood?
Yeah, in the middle of it, it's made of wood, and we will use the lacquer to put on the top on it, and usually we use the lacquer for many times and waiting for it to get wet, and then we put some the pearl and some the eggshells on the top.
Okay, let's come back to the little girl here. So she was just explaining to me that she's kind of polishing it with sandpaper.
Yeah.
Let me see the sandpaper. And she was just explaining to me that you need to change the sandpaper from time to time.
Yeah.
And what's on her hand is
This is a pearl powder.
Pearl powder.
We use the sandpaper and pearl powder to make it more shining. And
Okay. So is this done? 这个算是做完了吗？不算，做到什么样的程度才算做完了？
把它每个部分就磨得像这里一点，像就是很亮。
Oh, so I'm not sure if you can see through the camera, but this part is shiny. So she said she has to make the whole bead into this kind of shiny texture. That's when this bead is done. So how long is it going to take? 大概需要多长时间才能把它磨成这样？
大概需要一个小时左右。
1个小时左右 ，1 hour. OK. 那你现在能不能给我们看一下你是怎么做的？来给我们演示一下。I'm just asking her to show us how she's making this lacquer bead.
把它这个一面蘸上这个珍珠粉，
Okay, so you dip it in the pearl powder.
在手最有肉的地方快速磨。
Okay, so in the most fleshy part, you rub it against this part. 快速
磨亮之后，再
是有点亮了。Yes, it's become a little shiny. 确实是变得越来越亮了，是不是啊？ It's indeed becoming shinier and shinier. Does it hurt your hand? 手痛不痛？
不痛。
不痛。我还想给大家看一下你今天穿的这身衣服，可以吗？雨涵可不可以站起来给我们看看 ？I also want to show you guys what she's wearing.
在做事不方便。
So you're gonna untie your sleeves. This is such a beautiful dress. Can you introduce it for us? 可以给我们介绍一下你穿的这身衣服吗？
这身衣服它分成好几层，然后外面这一层是蓝色和黄色，上面也有像蝴蝶呀，那种有漂亮的花纹，然后呢袖子上还有那种飘带，飘带上有那种绒毛。
这是汉服是不是？ So this is the traditional Chinese Han costume, worn in ancient times by the Han Chinese majority. 你今天穿的这身衣服是不是和今天去做这个传统的手工艺非常的契合，对不对？So I just said that this dress really goes with the handcrafts that she's doing today. Really beautiful. Oh, matching shoes. Matching shoes. You chose it yourself? 你自己选的是不是？自己配的是不是啊？好，我跟你爸爸聊两句好不好？Can I talk to your dad for a little while? So yes, we talked about this, Mr. Liang, a couple of days ago. You and Yuhan's mom are both volunteers here at this museum, right? Tell us a little bit about this museum and how is it different from the kind of museums that we kind of grew up in?
This is the Sichuan University Museum, so that means behind this museum is Sichuan University, so that means in this museum the key point is training or learning. We can take our children to here to learn something, but in other museums also is some how to say some 文物或者
some artifacts.
Such also is only displayed to the children, so the children is not very it's not can be very interesting at them. Yeah, so
because
I think
they can't get their hands dirty.
Yeah. So just we have so many activity our child can take in this. So I think it's very good for the children to learn something, learn something outside the school.
Right. Just a cute backstory. When I met them last time, it was during a workshop about dissecting an owl's palate. I didn't even know what that was before I did that story. It's basically this fuzzy gray ball that the owl pukes, animal fur and bones and stuff like that it can't digest. So I think it's really, I mean, I kept saying this. Children today are so much luckier than our generation. Right?
Yeah. So we just say we have a very long history, but in sometimes it's not very it's a little far from us because we can in modern city just the building just something is very like the how say outside the city that's but in there we can know and we can learn some traditional culture. We can know something very just belongs to China. Just only there we can say it. So you know.
And just one last question before I let you get back to your lacquer bead. What's the most memorable workshop that you and Yuhan have attended?
Sorry.
What's the most memorable workshop? 最能够你们印象最深的一个
活动。
对一个。
So we the most I think is in last month there is traditional culture show. That means Sichuan University has made condition show. So how to say it? So I speak in Chinese. So it's a little difficult for me in speak in English. That means 就是上个月有一个这个上4节的一个活动，当时呢，四川大学他们发掘了这个整个民俗的东西，包括从服装，包括从整个表演。它这个服装呢是蕴含在文物之后的。当时我们是在整个4楼进行了这个表演。那么其实对我来说最重要，我觉得印象为什么深呢？因为是说它把真正的文化和活了起来，这个是非常重要的一个事情。所以那个对我来说印象是非常深的。
You agree, right? 你也同意是不是？
他当时在里面。小小的参与了一下奖励。
Okay, so you were a little performer. So correct me if I'm wrong. So basically there was a theatrical display on the 4th floor of this Sichuan University Museum. And I remember the 4th floor displays kind of costumes from the Qing dynasty and things like that, right?
Not only Qing dynasty, I think it's a collection of all the dynasty in China. That means 各个朝代的都会有像陶瓷。
Every dynasty, porcelain, ceramics, and costumes from each dynasty in the Chinese history. And they did a whole show centered around those exhibitions. Right. So you thought that it's really a move that brought these artifacts to life in an immersive and kind of interactive way where children can really engage, right?
Yeah, I think we just gave her some different way to learn, not only in school. That means
in
this
textbooks.
our
Yes. And Yuhan was also a little actress in that play, right? 你也是里面的一个小演员，对不对？
是，参与了一小项。
参与了一小项。好，谢谢你，你继续回去做你的珠子吧。希望你今天能够完成一个你自己很满意的作品，好不好？好，谢谢，拜拜。So, we're gonna move on to see if we can find the instructor of lacquer making. I don't see her around. Do we have the teacher somewhere here? Oh, she's right here. 你好，老师。你好。能给我们讲一下您现在做的这个是哇，好漂亮啊 ！This is so pretty. Okay, so this is a finished product.
我们现在在做的是一个漆器的珠子，它用的是我们的天然大漆加矿物质颜料调成色漆了以后，刷在我们的木头的珠子上面，表面还有。
Oh, you want to show me this? This little girl wants to show me this. 五个，她这个小姑娘主动的说想给我看一下这个。This little girl wants to show me this bead that she made. 是不是啊？你做的是不是？她有名字了吗？
没有。
她没有，你给她取个名字好不好？
就是我想给它取个文物的名字，我想把它放博物馆里面，然后把它收藏着，放给大家看。
哦，你想把它放到博物馆里 ？So she said that she wants to give a name to this lacquer bead, and she wants to put it in the museum so people can admire it. 我觉得你这个想法特别棒。这个小朋友 ，she wants to show us hers. Okay, this is a blue one. Beautiful. 她有名字吗？
还没取，
刚做完。She just finished it and she hasn't had an opportunity to name it yet. So we're gonna come back to the teacher. 您刚才说这个上面都是矿物质原料，是不是？
对，矿物质原料和生漆。
So these are all made of lacquer and mineral materials. 您经常会 You want to say something? 你想说点什么吗？不想，你只是想跟我打个招呼，是不是？那 You just want to say hi to me? Hi. 您经常会参加这种博物馆举办的这种研学活动吗？
是的，因为这2年不管是政府的一个宣传，还是自媒体的发展，其实都越来越多的年轻人都开始喜欢上我们的非遗，所以我们也经常参加这样的活动。
So she's just telling me that she attends workshops like this a lot at museums because she feels like children and their parents are paying more and more attention to our traditions, to traditional handcrafts and traditional culture and our cultural heritage. 所以，那您自己的本职工作就是一个漆器的艺术家，是不是？
对对对，我是我们成都漆艺的传承人。
成都漆艺 So she's a inheritor of the intangible heritage of Chengdu lacquer. 还没有来得及让您自我介绍一下。
我姓汪，我目前从事成都漆艺的学习和制作的话是已经9年了。
So Miss Wang, and she's been studying and promoting Chengdu lacquerware for more than 9 years now. 这个又是一个小朋友做的珠子，我们来再看一下这个好不好？
我们能看到上面的话是有一个咱们四川大学博物馆的 logo。
So this is the logo of Sichuan University Museum.
然后下面就是我们的漆器的一个主体，上面用的是我们平时吃的鲍鱼贝，我们叫做罗甸镶嵌，来作为一个装饰。
罗甸镶嵌，罗甸 is kind of a mother of pearl. 贝壳 yes, mother of pearl. Just want a little close up. So this is a necklace maybe? 这是一个项链，对不对？好的。然后雨涵的是不是也做好了，准备拿来穿绳了？
我也做好了。
你也做好了，来，你也做好了。He said that he's finished too. 你做的在哪里？给阿姨看一下。哇！ I just find this so adorable that these little children are surrounding me. They're coming to me to showing their products that they made. And I just feel like that children today, quite honestly, are really different from children from my generation. They're not shy at all. They're very proactive and they really own things. So I think they are really the product of this kind of education that we're seeing today. Hands-on, interdisciplinary. They're curious, they're confident, they want to find out the answers by themselves, and they're not afraid to ask questions. When I was a child, I remember museums were the kind of places that you were told to be quiet in. You're not allowed to run, not allowed to be loud. You're just supposed to look. But look at these kids around me. I think this is really a generation that's redefining education in China and redefining museum visits in China. So wonderful kind of educational experience for me as well. 谢谢小朋友们，你们做的都很漂亮。These are all so beautiful. And I just want to say a big thank you to all of you. 谢谢小朋友们。I think you have something to say. 你刚才说你没有什么想说的，但我一直觉得你好像有点什么想说。你想说一句吗？来，
阿姨，
对着叔叔的镜头说好不好？ I said I feel like that this little girl has always wanted to say something to us. What did you want to say? You just want to look at me. 你就想看我是不是？不想。那你想说什么吗？
我就想说你会双语吧。
啊，你就想说我会双语。She said she just wanted to ask me if I can speak 2 languages. Okay. So thank you very much.
你又在说英语，又在说那个。
because I'm speaking English.
然后，所以我就认为你是会双语。
She said because I'm speaking English and Chinese at the same time, so she wanted to ask me if I'm bilingual. Yes, 我说双语，你长大了也说双语，好不好？好的，谢谢汪老师，然后谢谢小朋友们和家长们。Thank you very much. So we're moving on. We're moving on with my guides. 对不起吧，你们晾了这么长时间。I'm having too much fun playing with little children. So, what's our next stop, guys?
I'm asking whether the next workshop is still going on, but
I think it's already ended, right?
Yeah.
Did you get a reply?
Wait us 2 minutes. They are. Oh yeah,
Right.
still. Yeah.
They're still going on.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, we can
because
continue.
there's
First floor to see the workshop. It's about the weaving
and
technology.
embroidery.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a weaving and embroidery workshop down at the first floor, so we want to go check that out. But that was supposed to end. Let me see what time is it now. That was supposed to end 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's almost the end of the workshop, but we can still see the works the children made in the classroom.
That's great. That's great. Because I was just explaining right there just now. I went to that workshop. I went to the space once. I went to that classroom. I went to that physical classroom once, not that exact workshop. And it's about owl's palette. 就是猫头鹰的食丸.
Oh, yeah.
The little fuzzy gray ball puked out by owls of kind of the stuff that they eat and they can't digest. So like rodent furs and bones and things like that. It's a very messy and gross workshop, but totally unforgettable. And me and my colleagues were saying that we learned something ourselves. Not to mention, the young children. I feel like they have so many more new ways to learn nowadays. Do you have a lot of this kind of workshops here at the university?
Yeah, we
museum?
almost have the workshop every week and based on different themes. Some are related to the the natural science history. So today we have the workshop based on the exhibits in our fourth floor. It's about the cave, like the shoulder decoration of the Qing Dynasty. It's one of the beautiful exhibits in our collections. And here's the workshop.
So can we just crash this? This is actually Yuhan's mother. So the little girl that we just interviewed, this is her mom. She's a volunteer here at the museum too. Just explain to us what they're making again.
They are making the cake, like the shoulder decoration, but they made of the use of paper to like estimate the cake. Yeah.
Can we go and take a closer look?
Oh, yeah. We actually use the different colors of pens and paper and cutting, and we use the stickers to put the different patterns on these clothes.
这个是谁做的？跟阿姨说。Who made this? Who made this? Oh, you did this?
对。
给我们讲讲你的创作理念，好不好？What were your thoughts behind this design? 我觉得颜色很漂亮啊 The color is so beautiful, right? 是不是啊？这些颜色都是你自己设计的，是不是 ？You designed this color, right?
对，他设计了，现在他想出来了，我们照做而已。
So he came up with design and you guys executed it. 你做的是什么环节？
我做的是涂颜色的环节。
涂颜色的环节。这里面所有的颜色都是你涂的吗？
不是，还是有一些他涂的。
Okay, so this little boy did the design, and this little boy and this little girl, they colored inside this pattern. Beautiful. 可以给我介绍一下你们今天学到了什么吗？这个做的是一个哪个朝代的衣服？
清朝。
清朝的衣服。So from the Qing Dynasty. Qing Dynasty would be 200 years ago? 100 something, 200 years ago, right? And these are the peony patterns, all traditional Chinese patterns. Did you guys have fun at this workshop today? 你们今天觉得参加这个活动开心吗？
开心。
学到什么了？跟阿姨说，你们学到的觉得最有趣的一点是什么？
我们学到了一些一些花朵、一些植物或者是动物，它们象征着什么
Okay, so this girl said that the most interesting that she learned from this workshop today is what these plant and flower motifs meant in traditional Chinese culture. 你呢？
我们 学到了在各个朝代最常用的一些这些图案。
纹饰是吧? So this little boy said that the most interesting that he learned from this workshop today is the most common motifs of each dynasty in China's history, right? 那你呢？你先 this boy is so shy. Is there anything that you want to say that you learned today? 今天你学到了什么，弟弟？
我学到了一些。
你们鼓励鼓励他 ，encourage this little boy. 鼓励他 You make this beautiful design. You must have something to say, right? I think he's the material of a designer. 来，最后一次机会，有没有什么想说的，想跟阿姨说的？来，那你告诉阿姨，你觉得设计这么一个图案难不难？ Just tell me if it's difficult to design this for you. 不难 Not difficult, right? Maybe you have a little bit of genius in you to be a designer when you grow up. 也许长大了可以成为一名设计师，有没有一点这方面的小愿望？有的啊，有的。Yes, so he said that he wants to be a designer a little bit. That's a little dream that he's holding right now. So 大家的课是不是已经结束啦？好，那就谢谢大家参加我们今天的直播，谢谢小朋友们和家长们，然后祝你们以后的学习都这么的轻松愉快，在玩中学习，好不好？好，拜拜，拜拜，谢谢。I love being surrounded by children. Bye bye. That little boy was just so shy, but so cute. You can see that he's kind of trying to overcome his fear.
But the pattern he created is really, really beautiful.
Right. So that's why I said I think he has that quality of an artist or something going on inside him. Like he feels a lot, like through the color and the design, you can totally see the way that he sees the world, but he's less expressive than the children that we met upstairs making those beads. They're just so proactive. They're like, I want to say something. I want to show you my bead. I'm not sure if you heard that. This little girl told me, she said, my dream is for this lacquer bead that I made to be displayed in this museum and for people to admire.
Wow.
Yes. So just guys, tell me about your personal stories. What was your major again? You studied translation, right?
Yeah, I study in English translation.
And what does it take to be a volunteer here at this museum? You must have to know a lot of things, right? And learn a lot of things.
Yeah, I did learn a lot of things during my volunteer experience here. And the reason why I joined here is like out of my personal hobby, because for me personally, I always feel like visiting those museums is like an enjoyable thing. And for me to become a volunteer here is also like I can become part of the museum, and this is so great for me.
Right. And what about you? What was your major? Because she's a volunteer, but you're staff.
Yeah, I majored in the cultural heritage, and at first I cultivate my hobby from my experience in Sichuan University. We have the program to investigate the intangible heritage in Yunnan province. It's called the tie dyeing, as we can see from the
I was gonna say,
as we can see in this exhibition.
Right
the tie dyeing works here. And so this is the beginning of my interest, and then I find that I really want to deep in this major and to take more interesting part about the cultural heritage. So I applied my graduate major in university.
Right. And you already graduated from graduate school.
Yeah.
Okay. So just tell me a little bit about these. These are artwork that little children made, right?
Yeah. This exhibition are all made by the children's age from 4 to 6 years old.
4 to 6?
Yeah, they're from the second kindergartens of Sichuan University.
Okay.
Yeah, and they use the intangible heritage, the elements of the intangible heritage to make their own works. As we can see, this is some tie-dyeing and silver making, silver crafts. Yeah,
and
handicrafts.
This looks like ethnic minority
of Miao people,
headwear, right? Yeah. So from Yunnan and Guizhou provinces.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit in Sichuan province where we are right now. Do we have Miao ethnic group here?
I guess in the southwest of Sichuan, we also have Miao people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And when we go this part, these are some elements of the Sichuan opera, and some kids used clay sculpture and paper cutting to make their own works about the Sichuan opera. And some also we can see from the Sichuan elements, the pandas.
The pandas.
Yeah, it's very cute.
So for those of you outside of China, that's something that people in Sichuan, including myself, we take the most pride in, giant pandas, right?
Yeah.
Because we're the hometown of giant, well, one of the hometowns of giant panda. So that's why these cute figures from the Sichuan opera they all have a panda face.
Yeah, everyone likes panda.
Yes, everyone. Who doesn't like panda? And here we're seeing paper cutting. Umbrellas. These are all made by kindergarten students?
Yeah.
大三班, yeah.
Yes.
5-year-olds.
With the support of the inheritors and their teachers.
Right. So that comes back to our theme, kids today, they're really learning from the best. If they come to the museum, they're learning from national level cultural heritage inheritors.
Yeah, it's a trend combining the museum studies to the real classroom in their school.
So tell me, according to your knowledge, are all museums in China doing this kind of practice? Having kids learn through this kind of interdisciplinary kind of hands-on kind of workshops? Do all museums in China do that now?
Yeah, most of the museums in China do that.
Wow. What are some of the other famous museums in Sichuan that you want to kind of pick out and talk about? Like we have the famous Sanxingdui Museum, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the kind of programs that they do.
I think maybe they have some study programs for adults, but for children, I think Sichuan University Museum has done a very good example. Like they have study programs for children and their parents. Like as a family, they can do together to explore like the intangible heritage we saw before, the lacquer bead. And there's also some programs like bird watching. They can learn the types of birds they know in their lives, and also the thing of snakes. And they can see the real artifact in the museum. And then they can also learn from the teachers in the museum and about the knowledge about them. So I really feel like this is like another classroom and maybe a more interesting classroom for them to learn knowledge.
Right, no desks, no blackboards, no facts, just real curiosity and real tiny explorers, right? So what's the next stop that you guys want to bring me to?
Our exhibition in the...
Yeah, we can... this is the second floor of the museum, and there are two exhibition halls. One is about folk custom in the Sichuan area, and another is about the ethnic groups in Sichuan. There's like 5 ethnic groups that would be introduced in the exhibition hall.
Right, but Sichuan actually has so much more ethnic groups than just 5, right? We have like 20-something ethnic groups here in Sichuan province. It's a ethnic melting pot, as we would say, right?
Yeah.
While we're here, just tell us, are you both from Sichuan province?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not.
You're not? Where are you from?
I'm from Zhejiang province.
Okay, so you're a local Chengdu ren, right? Chengdunese. And I've lived in Chengdu for 9 years. Tell us, what's your impression of your hometown? before we dive into this folk costume daily life exhibition here at the museum? Just very quickly.
Well, I think my hometown has lots of resources, including the not only the traveling but also there's some things like the very beautiful sceneries and very brilliant in heritage in Sichuan province. And I think it's basically a very relaxing atmosphere in Chengdu. Is biggest impression about the city. Yeah.
What about you, having lived here for how many years?
Actually, I only lived here for about 2 years. That's because I
your graduate study.
For my study. And for me too, everything here is new because I never seen here before. So I really feel like this exhibition hall is really interesting both for the local people and also people from other provinces in China,
right?
Or from people from overseas,
right? And I think you're from here. You're being too modest about your hometown. It's officially dubbed the happiest China in the happiest city in all of China, right? Yeah. Because of the leisurely lifestyle here in Chengdu City, and we're seeing old videos of what the city looked like back in the 30s and 40s.
This is the old architecture in ancient Chengdu, as we can see on the whole of this exhibition.
Right. And why did the two of you decide to take me to this exhibition hall out of all the exhibition halls here at the museum?
Because these two exhibition halls are about folk customs and ethnic groups in Sichuan, and every artifact displayed here are very typical to show how lives in Chengdu or in Sichuan are. So when maybe local people or people from other places, this is a very interesting display to show that. Like, for example, the furnishing and the window lattice here, like how people in ancient Chengdu live.
Right, and also one of the highlights here at this museum, right? Because you can only see this kind of display here at this museum, at Sichuan University Museum, and nowhere else, right? Right. So, is there anything particular? Well, for me, it just looks like. Here's the thing about museums, right? I think if there's no interactive design and no kind of hands-on learning experience, if you just ask me, a layman, to come here to look at these windows and doors, I would be like, well, they're beautiful, but no more, right? I wouldn't be able to understand the stories behind them. I wouldn't be able to understand why they're collected here in this museum, what's the importance behind these artifacts. So you're the guide. If you can show me one thing about these furnitures that we're seeing, what would it be?
Actually, this piece is a very important artifact collected in Sichuan University Museum.
Okay. And it's very exquisite. Yes, you can see the really carving here is exquisite.
And see here the 4 parts for here and for there.
Okay.
The decoration here is actually about, we all know the story of 八仙过海,
the 8 immortals.
Yeah. And actually, their symbols or their weapons, the thing that can represent them, are hidden in the. You can see here the fan or the lotus.
Okay, so we're seeing this fan right there, and that looks like a sword, maybe.
Yeah, so those patterns, they doesn't directly portray the 8 immortals, but the belongings of them. So that's why those patterns are called 暗八仙纹.
So hidden.
Yeah, hidden
8 immortal patterns. Yeah. Okay, so it doesn't show the gods themselves, just this things that they use, the weapons that they use.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me see what's the name of this. So okay, so this is a folding screen, right?
Yeah.
It's a folding screen from the Qing dynasty. Phoebe Jinsensis. I don't even know what that means. Folding screens with patterns of interlocking lotus, dragon, phoenix, bat, and longevity sign.
Yeah.
Wow. And behind us looks quite interesting. Quite a lot of people playing with something there. What is it?
This is like a mini workshop here, and people.
You guys just have workshops everywhere, right?
Yeah, like people can use their own hands to experience this, and they're making a wood stool here with their own hands.
And I'm seeing this is a sunmao, basically interlocking. It's a very traditional Chinese wood making technique, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't use nail or hammer. It just uses the wood itself and architectural design to kind of lock it.
And
do you know how to work it? Sunmao 家具拼装互动 Okay. I think this is difficult even for adults.
Yeah, I think so.
But the kids just look like they're having so much fun. I love this. That parent is saying that he thinks that they're almost succeeding. 这要做的是个什么呀？椅子，看那边上有一个图。Okay, so this is a little stool that they're trying to make, and there's a. Okay, they're trying to follow. Wow, it looks so complicated, making this chair. So this is sort of like an instruction book, but just this book is already difficult enough to look at for me. But the end product, it's supposed to be a chair like this, also from ancient China. Wow, cool, very cool. And speaking of this exhibition hall about Chengdu, I was just saying at the beginning of the show that the theme for this year's International Museum Day is the future of museums in a rapidly changing community. And one factor of the theme is how museums act as sort of a steward of our collective cultural identity. And that's also, I think, one of the important reasons that you guys actually took me here to this exhibition hall about Chengdu history. There is a sense of cultural pride. Well, definitely from you because you grew up in the city and you've lived here for 2 years and me 9 years. So I think we all take a lot of pride in really the daily fabrics here in this city called Chengdu. So I just want my cameraman to sort of pan out the window a little bit. We see this beautiful lake, the big river right here. And we can't see from this angle, but when the sun comes out, it's a very traditional habit for locals here in Chengdu to have 爸爸茶, right? So basically tea in a courtyard or tea by the river, something like that. It's a very, very leisurely city. Can we see that kind of lifestyle here in this exhibition?
Yeah, there is also a setting that shows how Chengdu people in ancient times, they drink tea together and they watch the shadow play Chengdu Ping together and also in the tea house.
Okay. Well, wow. This hall is just beautiful. Tell me a little about this hall because I know you know this hall inside and out, right?
And this hall is actually about the theme of wedding, and whether it's in the ancient times or in nowadays, wedding is always a very important part of a person's life. And in ancient times, there is a very complicated rite about wedding, and it's called 六礼. It's there are six rituals. Yeah, and here we can see a very beautiful Wet. Yeah.
花轿
Yeah,
是不是
So
How do you
exquisite.
even translate that? I was just checking how to translate a 花轿. So it's basically a bridal sit-in chair, or I saw a very cute translation online that says an ancient bridal limousine. 里面有人吗？这个小朋友想知道。So this little girl wants to know if there's a bride in here. So basically, this is what the bride sat in during the wedding in traditional. Well, how many? More than 100 years ago.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the tradition, right? Very beautiful. Can you just tell me about the little figurines and patterns and what makes this particular chair stand out?
Actually, there are a lot of interesting things that make this sedan very beautiful. For example, we can look at the top of this sedan, and there are ornaments in the fire shape.
Okay, so these are the little fiery shapes. I'm not going to stand too close.
Inside them, there are mirrors.
Okay. So the circle part in the middle.
Yeah.
These are all mirrors, right?
Yeah. So because of those mirrors, when this sedan chair is moving, and when the sunlight reflects by those mirrors, and this sedan can become shiny, and its top will be shiny.
Okay. I can also imagine that kind of scene in my head. Shiny mirrors on a sedan. I think it's a symbol of reflection of happiness.
Yeah.
Reflection of shiny things, right?
That's right.
Blessings for a wedding, right? And what about these little figurines here?
This is a setting of Sichuan opera,
Okay.
and also in the curvy part under the glass,
these,
there are
right.
also stories about wedding and about relationship, and all about the blessings for the couple, for the
Right.
newlywed.
I can vaguely make out this one. I'm not sure if I'm right though. I think this one is about 牛郎 and
牛郎 and
织女,
织女.
right? So basically a peasant who fell in love with a goddess
Yeah.
from heaven. Yes. Lovely. So how long did it actually, because you are a English literature major, so how long did it actually take you to learn all these things and be able to become a volunteer here at the museum?
I think it's about 1 month.
That fast?
Yeah, because we are writing the script, the 讲解稿all by ourselves, and this is first we need to get ourselves familiar with the settings here, and also we need to search for a lot of information to be able to tell the visitors about the history or about the background information about
Right.
those artifacts.
Right. So you have to do your own research. Speaking of interactive museum,
Yeah,
here is another bridal chair, maybe a modern remake of one,
yeah.
where families can go inside for a little experience of their own. 坐在里面感觉怎么样？感觉有点颠簸。He says he feels a little bumpy inside. But there you go. That's how a bride would be carried inside of this chair to meet his groom on her wedding day in ancient times. This little girl wants to go inside for a try. I think she's too young to be a bride. But she still wants to try, right? 你坐在里面感觉怎么样？So we can see there's a button that you can control it with, right? Now we're seeing a boy bride. I'm just drawn by this beautiful cape right here. What is it? Let me just take a look at red tapestry with a pattern of Yushu Palace Shu embroidery. So exquisite embroidery. And this is also part of the wedding attire?
Yeah, during the wedding, people will decorate their home like in red and to make this home like lively.
Right, right. And here we're showing this virtual reality sort of experience to see what traditional weddings look like. What's this part that's showing? A red envelope?
Yeah, this is about the newlywed, about their parents. And actually, if we look the whole video, and then we can know the whole process of the wedding, like before the wedding and during the wedding ceremony,
right,
and after the ceremony.
And here, that's probably the bride. Oh, is that a matchmaker in the middle, you think? Because it doesn't look like a wedding itself. So I'm thinking, is it a matchmaking?
Yeah, I think that's the matchmaking part.
Right.
And now they are delivering the brothel gift to the women's family.
Right, right. And this looks like a matchmaker, I feel. Taking her red envelope and walking away happily. Yeah, she's definitely the matchmaker. How long is this video? Because I do want to show the wedding part, but if it's too long...
it will be maybe several minutes.
Okay. Maybe we can see if we can catch the actual wedding ritual on our way back. But see how many visitors this virtual reality video is attracting.
Yeah, because this is a vivid display of how people did the wedding ceremony at ancient times.
Right. And I think in recent years, there's a national call in China to let the artifacts come to life, right? 让文物活起来. So, according to your own observation and yours, what are some of the measures that Sichuan University Museum is taking to actually bring alive these artifacts?
As we can see, we use lots of the interactive, the technology, and the immersive experience in this exhibition. And we will see that in the next part of the tea house and the shadow puppetry, we will feel this immersive experience. We change from the static display to the dynamic display. Yeah, like this part.
Right.
This is the tea house.
Is this something that you can... I never took note of this before I came here, but this is something that you can listen to, right?
Yeah.
Is this a... It's in traditional Sichuan dialect too. But that's showing what you guys were telling me, right? Traditional Sichuan tea houses where you can see the shadow puppetry shows, right?
Yeah. This is a documentary about the shadow puppetry in Sichuan.
Right. He's saying that he learned from his father. These are the shadow puppetry, shadow puppets. So this is a documentary about how this son learned the craft from his father. Very nice. So I would assume that 春乐, okay. You guys were telling me about this 春乐班,
春乐图, yeah.
春乐图. It's a troupe?
Yeah, it's a troupe.
It's a troupe. It's a performing band back when 1930. Okay, so in the 1920s, and then in 1932, it disbanded.
Yes.
And donated their shadow puppetry to the
museum.
museum. Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
As we can see, this tea house, this is actually from the Dongjie in
Okay.
Chengdu. Yeah.
Okay.
And the
So
display
from the tea house from the East Street in Chengdu. Tea house there. Tea house is one of the most important public places in Chengdu. I think that's very well said because I once did a story about a very old, I think a 100-year-old tea house in Pengzhen, 那个观音阁老茶馆. And what struck me the most was what the owner told me. He said the tea house is such a public space in Chengdu and it's such a Chengdu people's daily life, part of their daily life, because in the past, it's not just where people go to drink tea. It's where matchmaking is done, where, you know, small scale trade is done, where people buy stuff and people hear about gossips and people hear about the latest news. So this is basically a reenactment of what an old tea house would look like in Chengdu?
Yes, yes. And the tea house is not only the cultural space, but also the Chengdu people's daily life.
Right. Right. And behind this tea house, we're seeing, you were just telling me, right? Shadow puppet show is actually a essential part of tea house performance in Old Chengdu. So that's what we're seeing here right now. But this one, I had a big question about this one and a big problem about it too, because it actually depicts scenes of the 10 hells. It's sitting in the most obvious place in this hall about shuttle puppets. Why this theme takes the center stage?
Because this is the biggest and the most complete artifact of shadow play displayed in this museum.
Right. So what separates, because in China a lot of places have their shadow puppet shows, right? What distincts Chengdu style shadow puppetry with that of other provinces or cities and counties?
Its color will be brighter and the shape will be bigger, and as a material it's made of cow
skin.
Yeah, cow skin. Yeah.
Or donkey skin, but mostly cow skin, right?
Yeah.
And if you can only, because I think most of the shadow puppets displayed here are just a little bit too bloody for my taste. If you can, since this is the most complete and biggest collection here, if you can show me one, which one would you pick out to show me?
I think this thing can be interesting. This place is called Wangxiangtai, and although they are depicted in the same frame, but it's actually
this one right here.
Yeah, this is a place like in the underworld, and this is the place in real human life.
Okay.
And right here, this is the dead, but down here it's their family members.
Family members. So Wangxiangtai, the literal translation is home watching platform.
Yeah, that's
right. So this is the deceased looking over their living family members from the other world.
Yeah.
Oh, very emotional. Wow. Okay, so I would assume that this series of shadow puppets depicting scenes from the 10 hells would be a moral lesson for people to not do evil. Right. Probably back at the time, that's a sort of a way, a sort of propaganda way for people to kind of stay away from doing evil and do goods.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe that's how virtue is disseminated back at the time, right?
Yeah.
And what about these look? I don't know. These look very.
The head of those shadow play puppets.
And these are all real ones or just paintings on a lamp?
Real ones.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Real ones. So you can see it's actually pretty thick. Made of cow skin, you said. And then at the back of this, you can see what this particular pattern is about, right?
Yeah, yeah. And here, this is a very interesting head puppet. It's called 变脸头.
变脸头,
Yeah,
face changing head.
Now it's the face of a young girl, but you can hear in the hidden in the hair of it is like a ghost.
Right, like a demon.
Yeah.
阴阳变脸头, so yin and yang face changing head.
Yeah.
Wow. Just you told me earlier that you have always been interested in museums, right? What were museums like back when you were a little kid? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember, and it's not like nowadays, because in my childhood, I will feel like museums is a solemn place, and I should stay quiet when I'm visiting there.
Right. You were told the same thing. I was told the same thing. Right. And this is the last part of the shadow puppetry hall. There's this one last piece that you guys earlier said that was really important that you guys wanted to.
Famous scene telling the story in 白蛇传. As we can see, this is the 断桥 here.
So this is the broken bridge, and this is the story of the white snake. So
this, I guess this one is the white snake.
This one is the white snake, and she's her husband, her lover, right? And what made you? Well, these two are both female figures. What makes you think that this one is the white snake?
We can see from the head of the shadow puppets. As we can see, it is more colorful and more
elaborate.
Elaborate,
right.
Yes.
So the more important a character is, the more elaborate her headwear would be.
Yeah, most of the time it is.
Right. So this would be the 青蛇. How do you say 青蛇? Like the green snake?
Green snake, I guess.
So basically, the white snake, the main character's maid or little sister.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So moving on to the next hall, maybe the last one.
Yeah, and this is the end of the full custom exhibition hall.
Oh,
and moving on, we can see the exhibition hall to show the cultures of ethnic groups in Sichuan.
Right. Okay. But sorry, I interrupted you back there with the story of the white snake shadow puppet. You were just saying that you were a kid. When you were a kid, you were not allowed to talk loudly. You were not allowed to run in a museum. When do you think that started to change?
I think it's maybe in the recent years. And kids nowadays are really different. They can. They will feel like museum is now a place for fun, and not only for fun, but when they're like enjoying visiting museums, they can also learn something from the museum, but in an enjoyable way.
Right. Because when we were doing that lacquer beat part of this live stream, I said that I interviewed that little girl whose family comes to this museum for this kind of study tours every weekend. And they were telling me that they don't feel like they're learning. They're basically just having their weekend fun. So what about you? When you were a child, did you visit the museum a lot?
Yes, I visit almost every month, and from my expression, it was very quiet usually in the museum, and no one talking, and no activities in the museum, just seeing the things on the whole, and. I guess maybe 10 years ago, we can see the change in the museum, and I think it's due to the transformation, the rising of the new museology, like 50 years ago, and we stressed no more static display in the museum, but a dynamic cultural space in this place.
Right. And what's this hall that we're seeing right now? It's about ethnic culture.
Yeah, and it's about the culture of the Tibetan ethnic group.
Right. Because I just wanted to kind of explain for our viewers out there from all over the world that when people talk about Xizang, they think about the Tibetan Plateau as sort of just one autonomous region here in China. But actually, we have Tibetan minorities in actually 5 provinces here in China, right? And Sichuan is the western part of Sichuan is actually densely populated by the Tibetan population. Yeah. So we have a very vibrant, very colorful ethnic culture here in Sichuan province. And that's also one of the things that, another thing that people like local Sichuan people take pride in, right? If you want a little taste of kind of Tibetan culture, Qiang culture, or what are some of the other representative ethnic minorities? I think there are 20-something of them here in Sichuan. We all have a little piece to offer, right? It's not just about food and panda, right? We have so much culture here in Sichuan province. And I think there's policy now to make foreigners traveling to Sichuan easier nowadays. So if you guys are watching out here and you're planning a trip here to China, maybe Sichuan province is something to think about on the top of your list, right? So this is pretty much the end of, we're seeing some tangkas right here, which are sacred Tibetan paintings, right? Religious paintings here. We'd better, at this part of the museum, I think we should speak a little quieter, because I always have tremendous respect for things related to religion. I don't want to be disrespectful or anything. So we're seeing these beautiful tangkas right here, depicting deities in the Tibetan culture, right?
It's about the poetry, the Buddha, and the stories.
Right. Yeah. And also maybe the epic story of Tibetan heroes, right? Paper painting. Wow. Speaking of which, now we're seeing Qiang village, which is another ethnic minority here in Sichuan province. And quite frankly, not far from the provincial capital, Chengdu, right? Just about a 2 hours drive, you can experience Qiang culture. So this is their stone fortresses, which is typical of the Qiang culture. Guys, is this about the end of the second floor that you want to show me? Is this about the end of the ethnic minority?
There are still 3 other ethnic groups.
Okay.
And we can just walk to the end of this exhibition hall.
Okay. All right.
And this is about Yizu.
Oh, yes. Yizu. Which is another ethnic minority here a major ethnic minority here in Sichuan province. And they worship fire, right? So that's why we're seeing a fire pit right here. They have their fire festival as their new year every summer, late summer, maybe. 彝族的火把节是不是在7、8月份？是不是？
June, July.
Yeah. Maybe in midsummer, they have their fire worshipping festival, which is essentially the new year of the ethnic minority. Guys, just talk to me about working in a museum like this and having a university right outdoors of this museum backing you up. What kind of advantage do you think that kind of access to academic studies have to your work and to the construction of this museum in general?
I think something very characteristic about this museum is that it's Sichuan University Museum, and all the artifacts here are based on the research findings or research outcomes of those scholars from Sichuan University.
Ooh, this is a beautiful dyeing based on plants. Is it a Yi costume?
Yes, Miao.
Miao. Oh, this is a Miao. See, I told you we have Miao ethnic minority here in Sichuan. So just because we've already talked for 1 hour about the transformations that are happening in museums in China, because the theme, once again, for this year's International Museum Day is the future of museums in rapidly changing communities. Just some final thoughts from you guys who work in this industry. Your first-hand observation. What are some of the most important changes that you have observed in museums across China in recent years? Who wants to? Because the museum is also closing in 10 minutes, so just some final thoughts. Probably 1 or 2 sentences from each of you.
I think the great thing, one of the greatest thing is the immersive experience. As we can see from the Sichuan University, we have lots of we apply a lot of new technology in our exhibition to enhance the people's engagement, and also we have lots of the interactive things, right, in this exhibition, and next is about we can see from all of our collections, it is the integration of the different disciplines like the archaeology, ethnography, and the nature science, or we can see from another floors. Yeah, so I think that is the most part I like.
Right. And what about you? Just some final thoughts. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I think now museums are now has a closer bond to the communities, and people are thinking that hanging out in museums can be interesting.
It doesn't have to be it doesn't feel like a learning experience.
Yeah.
It feels like a field trip or something
Yeah,
like that, right?
they're having fun here.
Right. And do I get a last sentence too? Do I get some last thoughts too? I have a little piece of advice for your museum. So for the study tours that you guys do, right? The bird watching tours, the handcraft making tours, can they actually open to adults as well? Because I want to join.
Yes, of course. We have this kind of activities every week, so you just need to sign in our WeChat
But that's
website.
What I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're all for small children.
Oh, but maybe we will have the activities in the future for adults.
Right, because I think as an adult, I can learn so much from your workshops as well.
We have, but maybe in other holidays, like we used to hold activities for grown up people, and it's a very interesting matchmaking type, like
a matchmaking time.
Single girls and single boys, and they're hanging out together at the traditional volunteer day at the Sichuan University Museum.
Okay, there's one single. I have a single colleague standing behind the camera. There's a piece of useful information for you, guys. I had so much fun with you guys today, and learned so much from you too. Thank you so much, and thank you for all of you joining us from the other side of the screen. I hope you had fun too. And that's all from us for today. We will see you next time.